Hey, everybody, this is your friendly neighborhood therapist, and I have a little bonus here. I have the friendly neighborhood therapist at, aka my wife and best friend of 12 years this July. We always get the date wrong, but we're going to come back and tell you some things that you really need to know when you're trying to recover from a bad relationship and find love again. Be right back. So this is Alfonso, your friendly neighborhood therapist, and I'm here with my wife, Brina, and just thought I'd do a video. We're driving to the airport to pick up a family member, and don't worry, your therapist is not distracted. I can see what I'm doing here. I just wanted to talk a little bit, please excuse me, talk a little bit about the difficulty in finding love again after you've been in a relationship that's ended. And you guys know it just leaves you in a place where you wonder, not just if you can find love again, but honestly, do you really want to try to find love again? Let me say something that's please forgive me, just getting over the flu. Let me say something that's really obvious. A lot of times what happened to us in that previous relationship, it breaks us. We had these dreams, these desires of what we thought the family was going to be like. You guys know what I'm talking about, where your husband, your wife, you take the kids together to college, to high school for their first milestones. And then all of a sudden they're shattered and you have to think about not just doing it again with somebody else, but do I really have it in me to be trusting of another person again? Especially if you've been cheated on or violated in some way. You wonder, do you have it to do all over again? What that process is like, meeting somebody and getting to know them, finding out their idiosyncrasies, the things that you just kind of took for granted before, but little things that you don't even think about when you're looking in that next relationship. And then when they come up, it's like, oh, shoot, did I really make a mistake here? Am I even ready for another relationship? So I just thought we'd talk a little bit about it. I've mentioned in some of my previous videos how my first marriage, my ex-wife and I were together for 28 years altogether, 24 years marriage, 21 years together. The last 3 years being separated. I was 46 when Brina and I met. And I knew I wanted to be married again. I just wasn't sure if I was ready for that level of intentionality and being committed. Not committed in a way of fidelity, but being committed in a way that I can not do what makes me feel good to do what would make somebody else feel good in a relationship. In other words, the intentionality of being submissive, the intentionality and being altruistic, and that you put somebody else's needs above your own. Because let's be honest, when you get out of that relationship, especially a long one that's traumatic, it almost breaks you and you say, oh my God, I look forward to being in my bed again, not having to watch what somebody else wants to watch. That's her. She has to watch what I want to watch. But lately she's been taking control of the remote control. That'll be another video for another day. But you get to that point where you get over the breakup and you say, now I can just do me. And here comes somebody else. And you're thinking, oh my God, I just got used to going to bed when I wanted to. And ladies, here's a big one. When you're with a man who's protective, when you're with a man who operates in that role where he's trying to protect this lady, you've been going out and coming in when you want to. Now you got to call this mofo and say, hey, I'm going to be out late. I may not be home when I said I was going to. You think about how 5 months ago you were out with your friends, and now all of a sudden you have to be checked. You have to put your GPS on it and let that person know where you are. You may not want to do all of that. The difficulty that I had, it wasn't in being faithful. As I said before, 24 years of marriage with my ex-wife. I never cheated. That wasn't my thing. But I started to really enjoy being by myself. I realized I was looking for relationship and companionship, but I hadn't really counted up the cost in terms of me enjoying the freedom that I had to just do me. And now what it was going to mean to have to be considerate of somebody else, thoughtful of somebody else. Did you have that issue, Bree? You can be honest.
No.
She lied.
No, I did not have those same issues. Because after my last marriage and my divorce, I purposely took time to myself before I entered into another relationship. It was probably about 5 years, really, before I started even opening myself up to dating and even thinking about possibly being into another relationship. So I had kind of gotten all of that stuff out of my system. So when I did entertain, okay, let me open myself up to maybe going to the movies, going out to eat, meeting someone, I was kind of ready for the relationship aspects of things. Really? I didn't mind.
About the children. I can't go out with you again because I'm going to be with my kids, and I'm not trying to hear all of that about the kids.
But I was impressed. I was enjoying me, because after my last marriage ended, I focused on myself for the first time in my life, probably. I had kind of always had a boyfriend. I was a single mother. My attention was always on someone else. And so after the divorce, I spent some time just growing, learning myself, becoming aware of my strengths, my weaknesses, just kind of developing, I guess, my identity. I spent time with God. I grew spiritually by leaps and bounds. That's one of the things I did. So no, when you and I got together and I finally opened myself up, and I felt like it was time, I felt like I had done the work and I was ready at that point. Now, after we got together, that's a different story. Man, after we got together, you go through an adjustment period. In the beginning, everything is peaches and cream. You're digging each other. You're feeling each other. You're not that aware of your differences and the other person's idiosyncrasies. And then when you find out that
I'm a diva, she's just not trying to say it. I dialed myself out.
I didn't say it.
She hooked up with the diva.
He's putting words in my mouth. You heard it out of his mouth, right?
I don't care. I like my pancakes light, and I like the fizz of my soda strong.
Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with that, babe.
So when we're at a restaurant and I send my pancakes back. Bree mentioned something though that's very important. It's the timing. I say to the patients that I treat that it could be the right person but the wrong time. If you haven't allowed yourself to kind of really thoroughly flesh out the pain that you had from before, it'll show up in a good relationship with a good person. But if you've not given yourself time to heal, time to process what you went through, time to process those hurts, those pains, if you just put them on the back burner, out of sight really isn't out of mind as it relates to thorough emotional healing. You've heard it said before, Bree, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else or get on top of somebody else. Mm-hmm. That advice has been there for a while. But when your heart has been broken Because as I said before, you got married, you got in this committed relationship. It was in it to win it. It was friends and partner forever. But when it ends in a way, especially if you're not the person who wanted it to end, if the ending was on the part of the other person, you need time to really figure out what is it that you really want in a relationship. And if you don't give yourself time to heal, time to get over it, then you'll end up not allowing your spotty senses, your male and female instinct, that intuition to guide you in relationship. And you can end up with somebody who will take advantage of your hurt and your pain and your vulnerability because you didn't give yourself enough time to really heal. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's spot on, definitely. That was one of the reasons that after my divorce, I took some time to myself because I knew that I was dealing with a lot of pain and hurt, broken dreams, broken promises, just my life not looking like I thought it was going to look. You know, my family, my husband, us building together. Things completely changed, and I had to pivot in a way that I didn't expect to. And so a lot of stuff came up with me, and I knew I had to deal with that baggage. It ended up being some things about my childhood, things about myself that I wasn't aware of, that I had to learn about and kind of overcome. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. That's spot on. Take the time to heal, process. I went to therapy. That was important to spend some time on yourself. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I believe this for a long time, definitely after going through my divorce. The first time you get booed up, you get in that committed relationship, you think you know what you want. That second time, you darn sure know exactly what you're looking for. And that goes to the last point that I want to make. Don't settle. Don't settle in that second relationship. And I know that ladies, you all have that biological time clock, and you think, as you all say, that there's a lot of pee in the pool, and there are more women looking for men than the other way around. Men are not looking for commitment. So what? You have to assess your value and know that you have something to offer a man. In the raw, who you are, you have something to offer that you should never feel like you have to compromise. And I try to tell the folk that I treat, I do individual therapy with these individuals. I do marriage and family counseling. I do relationship groups. I try to tell them, if you compromise on the front end in order to get that person, you'll start not just to resent him or her, you'll start to resent yourself. You know why? Because you'll say, I saw this in the beginning, but I went with it anyway. Why? Because sometimes that feeling of being alone is so overwhelming. We'll say on the front end, I knew something was there, but it's better to have issues but a warm body next to me than to have an empty bed and be alone. That will not cut it. Because if that timing is not right, if you haven't dealt with your issues from before, you'll end up bringing those same issues in, but with somebody who does not have a track record of showing that he or she is committed to work through whatever issues you may have in that relationship. What are your thoughts, Bree?
That's definitely true. I know in my first marriage, I didn't compromise so much as I didn't really know exactly what I wanted. Second go round, I knew exactly what I was looking for, but I was open to God sending me who he had for me. But I did a vision board. I wrote down a list of qualities and things that I wanted. So then that way I would know how to weed out what I didn't want and how to let in what I did want. Definitely. I learned that lesson second go round.
That vision board, I still remember it. We actually met online, a site called Christian Mingle, and I know that the online dating is not as good as it used to be, but on her vision board she had a man, an actor, Laz Alonso, and she had a Jaguar. She had the kind of man she wanted and the kind of car that she wanted, and she didn't get Laz Alonso. I'm sure he was off doing a movie somewhere, but she got Alfonso. And guess what, y'all? I was driving a Jaguar at the time. So she got the Zoe and the Jag. Hey guys, we just wanted to talk to you, let you know that it's possible to find love again. It's possible to get somebody who can really blow your mind. Just make sure you go through your healing. Make sure you're not settling. Make sure that you're not just taking any old body for the sake of saying you have somebody. If this content means anything to you, hey, you know I would love to hear from you. I love interacting with my subscribers. Do your friendly neighborhood therapist a favor and leave me a comment down there. Let me know if you have any thoughts, anything like that. Also, do me a favor and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button so you can know when I post the next video. If you guys want some more information on how to get into and what to look for in a relationship, check out this video right here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm going to let the friendly neighborhood therapist take us out today. You got any last words, babe?
Yeah, definitely. Don't settle for anybody, and I mean that literally, not anybody. Wait for who God has for you.
And ladies, let that man have the remote control. Okay, that's the last word.